Hi, Joe. Thank you so much for joining me this evening on quite a momentous day in New Zealand.
Yep, it certainly is. Certainly a day that no one's seen before.
Yeah, so just so that everybody's aware, I was going to post up about this before, but I moved you earlier so that we could make sure that we did speak today. That we've just been upgraded from a level 2 to a level 3, I guess, on our emergency scale, and we're going to be put into the highest level possible, which is level 4 within 48 hours, meaning that we are officially within a 48-hour period all going to be on lockdown, which in my life, I don't think I ever thought I would see this. I don't know. How do you feel about that?
It's a bit crazy. I'm actually feeling that it's the right decision. I think that we've gone a lot earlier than a lot of other countries, so we have still got that window to try and curb everything so it doesn't get out of control.
Yeah.
But yeah, completely weird, completely strange. 1 minute feeling completely fine and like everything's normal because I'm just making dinner, and then the next minute realizing we're not, and a little bit roller coastery, I think, which is completely normal for all of us.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I think a lot of people have actually spoken about that roller coaster, so we're going to come back to that. Joe, how about you just let us know whereabouts you are and what it is that you do for work, and then we're going to jump back on that roller coaster and we're going to just describe how it's feeling.
Cool. Okie doke. Well, my name's Jo Green and I am the health and mind coach. I have a business that I run from home, but out of East Auckland. I help people that are struggling with stress, with anxiety, with reaching their goals, with anything that they want to focus on, basically, to help them manage and find their way through that, to basically come out and to live a better life and to feel happier and more content and hitting their goals, basically.
So now would be a booming business trade for you, right?
Well, it would be potentially if everyone wasn't trying to tighten their belts, which is kind of what everyone's going to be doing at the moment. I think that out of this, that coaching will see us soar because people unfortunately are going to have a lot of trauma left after this, and going to need help navigating their way through that, which is what we can offer. I think it's going to highlight to companies how important their staff are, and actually, looking after them post all this is going to be crucial for not only for the employer, but also the employee, but also the economy as a whole. I think it's hitting home as to how important people wellness and health, all that is.
And I think if we talk about the roller coaster, at the moment, we thought that we were on the kiddies roller coaster, right? And we've just all been thrown off, and we're now just about to go down. We've been track, and then we were here, and then they've announced that it's going to be level 3, and then we're like this, and then level 4, we're going to be in the thick of it. Is kind of how my imagination kind of works through that, I guess. And I'm kind of just going that we are in this space of absolute discomfort, that there are so many opportunities for people to make decisions right now that are not going to be for the best for themselves and are not going to be the best for other people. So you spoke about employers and employees and all that. I heard about a camp up the road from where I am that's released 30 staff. Air New Zealand put out an email that said, we are going to have to let go some staff. Please, if you are looking for anybody, please hire these guys. That is a company that is heartbroken, I'm sure, because with New Zealand, and I'm sure across the world, we actually see our staff as our family, not our staff, our team, our employees or our employer, that we're all part of a family here in New Zealand. And it's like saying, to your brother or your sister, your mum or your dad, hey, you can't live here anymore. You got to go. And there's no support for you. So we're in this really awful time where we really want to try and make sure that, we're still getting our wages, but we've just been told to stay at home. And how if you're a housekeeper, or how if you're a cafe service person, how can you do that from home? You can't,
Mm.
and there, like you say, there is going to be so much trauma that comes out of this.
Yeah, I think it's really important though that obviously we've just had the announcement today, and so everyone's gone straight back into, like when we had the Saturday, I think it was, when she said we're in alert phase 2, everyone was a little bit, she's addressed the nation, that doesn't normally happen, and so it's all a bit panicky, and we've gone again into that panicky stage now. The schools are closing, everything, all the non-essential and businesses are closing, and so, but people still don't properly understand. I don't think any of us understand exactly what's going to happen with wages, with everything like that. The government have said that there's going to be support, but we're waiting for full clarification on what that actually means. So I think now is a really, really crucial time for us to actually be aware of our reaction and be aware of our thoughts. We're going to potentially, as you say, fall down that roller coaster and go into a huge big hole and not be able to dig ourselves out of it. So it's a case of staying in the present, I think. Not being pulled down. Everybody's thinking what if. You're absolutely not the only one. Things will become clearer over the next few days. And I think actually the most important thing for anybody right now is to look after their mental health. Is that whole stay present. When you start getting all these ants rolling around in your head, automated negative thoughts, which apparently we have, like, was it 65,000 a day or something?
I was thinking ants, but let's go back with automatic, what is it? Automated negative thoughts. I love that.
Yeah, automated negative thoughts. Ants crawling around in your head. So when you get one of those, is actually just to stop and hang on, ask yourself, do I actually know if this is true? Is it absolutely true? And actually, how do I feel when I think that, which probably not great, and how do I feel if I let go of that? And actually, most of the things that everyone's thinking at the moment, it's not, no one knows what's going to happen. So it's just keeping control of those thoughts and staying in the present as much as possible, which I think for the next few days will be key.
Yeah, absolutely crucial, right? And I think, you raised such a good point that, I mean, myself, I watched the live feed for some part of it. It popped up on one of my Facebook groups that I was in, and I went, I wonder what the update is. Oh my, what's just happened? I was due to go and run an activity. I was due to, if that activity wasn't going to take place, I needed to go and get my child. If her school activity after school wasn't going to be taking place, I needed to go and get her first. I had 2 minutes to decide which one I was going to go and do. And so a lot of getting things in place really, really quickly, which then sends your brain, it's like if you imagine a bookshelf, all your books are all nicely stacked up in a row, and then someone's gone and just knocked your bookshelf, and suddenly all your books are out of order. And suddenly your brain just goes, I can't remember what I'm supposed to do next. Yeah. What is the time? What is the day? Is this even happening? I'm so confused. What is my name? Can we get rid of 2020 and, I don't know, go back to some other date, or just fast forward a year, But the thing is that we're in it. And if we can acknowledge that, if we can, like you say, step back and just be like, let me stop. My head's been spinning a little bit, but let me just stop. Let me work on some breathing. Let me take some, you might want to talk about 5-5-7 breathing or something, as part of your thing, where you just do your breathing and you calm down and you go, is it helpful for me to be thinking these thoughts right now? What benefit, is just simple, is it helpful right now? Is this helping me to feel any better? And if it's not, then we have to really quickly put a different thought in there so that we don't go back to thinking out that our ends.
Absolutely. And it's that lack of control, right? That's what sends our bodies into a meltdown almost, is that the lack of control, especially people who, some people are better without, with not having control and going with the flow, and other people really need that control and the structure in their life. So we're all messed up in this. It's like, the schools aren't, they're not going to school tomorrow unless you're an essential worker. It's kind of like, okay, oh my God, what am I going to do? It's kind of like actually also not being so hard on yourself. Yes, actually the kids might end up having lots of screen time tomorrow or something like that, which you don't really want them to do. But actually, let's just find the balance first. Let's not put extra pressure on ourselves at that point. but it is also doing things. I dragged my kids out earlier this afternoon for a walk, and they were grumbling all the way home. They just wanted to sit apparently in front of the screen and eat chocolate. And I was just explaining to them that's probably the worst thing you can do to, for themselves. And they think I'm a terrible mother for making them go out for a walk. But, it's these things that keep you sane. It's kind of like getting out, getting some fresh air. And I know we're on lockdown, we can still go for a walk as long as you're obviously keeping your distance from people. And actually, I think that part of it is really, trying to get some sort of routine into your day if you can. And not find yourself at the end of the day having just sat there and literally just watched media updates or scrolling through social media all day, because that's one thing that is just full of scaremongering at the moment. It's people are reposting. They're scared too that a lot of people aren't doing this to cause any distress, but that's what it's having. It's people are reposting things. So I ask people when they're going to do that, ask themselves that same question that you just said, Laura. Is this useful? Is this helpful? A lot of what is being reposted out there isn't helpful. It's just speculation. And so is it just going to cause more upset to people? And so just as you say, taking that step back as well and thinking before you act on social media.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what you mentioned about routine, so we've all got our routine. I spoke about in one of my earlier videos, so much of what we do is automated. They're just habits, so that our brain doesn't have to think about them, right? You get up, you go to brush your teeth, you have your breakfast, you get in the car, you don't even have to think. Can you even remember driving to work? I don't know anymore, and so, but now we've been told, okay, well, just scratch your entire routine. Let's just chuck that away for now. And now you've got a blank slate. What are you going to fill your time with? It's so important to go, yes, I need to get out of bed, right? Yes, I need to make sure I'm eating healthy. I should do some stretches if I'm not going to get out for a walk, or if the weather's really bad. I need to get some vitamin D. I need to make sure that I'm sleeping enough and not binge watching on Netflix. I mean, rather binge watch on all of these videos, right?
Yeah, exactly.
At least they're helpful. And let's stay away from apocalyptic, scary, negative movies right now. We need to have time for getting off and away from screen time, so that we can really connect with the people that are in our household. And if we are by ourselves in our household, how do we connect with those people who are outside of our households? Our family, extended family, overseas family. When are we doing what? Because if you're on lockdown, every single day is going to look the same pretty much. Okay. And so why don't we use this opportunity to put together this cool little schedule? This is mum time. Stay away. I'm doing something for me. I'm doing my nails, or I'm going to read my book, or I'm sleeping in tomorrow morning, and you kids do not disturb me if you want to be fed. Anything like that. But the kids could have their routine as well. If they're going to get online learning from school, I think this happened a little bit quicker than what a lot of maybe schools were thinking, and maybe we don't have access to them just yet. But at some point, that is routine for those kids. They need to keep learning. They're in a learning phase of their life. That's what they're used to. That they're so institutionalized, for want of a better word, that's what they do every day.
Yeah.
And so it's about, and you can talk to this as well, is that if you have the ability to create your own routine and you can live in the moment, then you are taking back power and you're taking back control of your life when you're feeling like it's being stripped away from you.
Completely. I'm actually spent some of my day to day starting to write a bit of an article actually about exactly what we were just talking about habits. And actually there's a positive and a negative. You're absolutely right. We're in our routines. Your routine might be at the moment that you get up, you go to the gym before you go to work. Now, if you're can't go to the gym anymore, this is how it's all changed even whilst I've been writing this. So what can you do? So how can you keep those good habits going whilst you during this time of lockdown? But also potentially this is a really good opportunity to lose some of those not so great habits. It's kind of like living on caffeine, because you go and get one first thing in the morning from the coffee shop next door to work, and then another one at lunchtime, and then maybe a Danish to go with it or something. So actually there is a positive here, is that it's an absolutely, as you say, it's a clean slate. Yes, you might be tied to the house, but there's so much you can do. There's so many things online nowadays. Just to name one, I don't know if you've heard of Joe Wicks, the body coach.
No.
Have you ever heard of him? No. So he's a guy in the UK who has literally hundreds of workouts. Majority of them are all body weight ones online that you can just stream, and they're anything from like 10 minutes to a 30-minute workout. But you can get he does ones for kids as well. In fact, I think he's actually going live to do PE sessions for kids as well, because of the lockdown in the UK too. So there's so many resources online now, but not only just online, because we don't want to be sat in front of our screen.
Yeah, exactly.
All the time.
Although we could trick the kids and say it's screen time, just go and watch one of these programs.
Exactly.
You get to watch it on your laptop. Cool,
Exactly. But taking that time, as you say, like, this is my, mindfulness, my meditation time, where I'm going to go and spend literally 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever you want, to even worst case scenario, do deep breathing. Or, say worst case scenario, so like the minimum, you can just do breathing. You don't need any app, you don't need anything. You can just, as you say, do some diaphragmatic breathing, where your stomach is going out, your out breath is longer than your in breath. So you said 5-5-7. I generally use 3-3-5. So breathe in for 3, hold for 3, and then breathe out for 5. And that out breath being longer than the in breath just triggers your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest. Simple things, like the most simple thing ever to control your breath, and that has such a significant effect on your body. That just calms you down. You'll feel yourself calming down. So create, if there's a particular time of day where you feel that you're losing your rag with everyone else around you, being around you all the time, set that time. Actually, midday, that's my time. I'm just going to have 20 minutes, half an hour out. Don't disturb me. But picking things that, as you say, that are good for you. Having that wind down, spend that time, have a nice relaxing bath if you've got a bath in the house before you go to bed. Take that
put some lavender in it.
Yeah, absolutely. If you've got essential oils, get them diffusing, or get a few drops in your bath or whatever. But there's so much that we can, but creating, to me, it's a perfect opportunity to create some new healthy habits. Once you've got them in place, once this all ends, which it will, it's gonna pass, you can adapt them to the other lifestyle. But it's once you've got the 4 weeks, that's plenty long enough to start and create a habit. So let's do that. Let's take some positive out of these strange times.
I like that. And I've written down, they create healthy habits and then adapt them to your new lifestyle. When you say new, it's like that new little seedling, or it's that fern frond that's unfurling. We're in a state of, we don't really know, is what we were talking about before, we don't really know what the future looks like exactly. We just know that it has to be better than what it is now.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And if we can hold that, and if we can trust that, and if we can breathe into that, and when we do meditate, just spending time focusing on the fact, and not so much what is going on right now, but on what you would like it to be. What would you like your future self to be like? What would you like your future work to be like? What would you like your life to be like? What would you like your relationship to be like? This is a chance to reevaluate everything in your life. And I'm not saying go and just break up with your husband now, because Laura just said it's a new time, new lifestyle. She said I can leave you. It's not that. It's more just like, if something isn't working for you now, use this time to go inwards and to really work out what it is that's important to you. What do you deserve from life? We all deserve the very best from life, regardless of who we are, where we are, what we do, anything like that, right? And if we can, I can see you now.
I know, sorry, I just realised it was going really dark because I'm in my daughter's bedroom and the light's rubbish, so I've just put the light on me.
Perfect. Hello. So this is Jo, everybody. Hi, Jo.
In the dark house. No,
yeah, she doesn't have power.
I was going to say, it's not that bad. We do still have electricity.
Not very much, though. It's only limited. It has to come off very soon. But just enough so you can all see who she is. Yeah.
But no, you're completely right.
Mm.
It's kind of like, as you say, it's those keeping that in the present, keeping those and with the habits and making those changes. Don't set yourself up to, you know, fail, but you have got the time now to put things in place. But start small, start really small, you know. Instead of saying, oh, I'm going to go for a run every day this week because I've got the time, or realistically, are you actually going to be motivated to go out for a run every day? You know, maybe you say, I'm going to go for a run around the block 3 times this week. That's a lot more manageable, but then you might end up doing more. But set yourself achievable targets. But you're totally right. You know, this is the time to take that step back, to look at things, so that once this is all over, and once this is past, and yes, you know, the world may look slightly different, and there's a lot of positives coming out of it at the moment, a lot of environmental positives coming out of this at the moment, that actually, you know, you kind of know where you want to go, and you know what you want to do and what changes you want to make in your life. It's going to be really easy though to fall into that whole, I'm just going to eat crap, I'm going to sit in front of the telly, I'm not going to do anything, and then you think that's going to be great. Everyone's like, oh, awesome, you know, and effectively got to be on holiday or whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're working at home. But actually realizing that spending your day sat in front of a screen all day every day, and eating crap is not going to serve you. I'm not here to preach and tell anybody what they have to do, but just notice.
Eat your vegetables, everybody.
Yeah.
And drink your water.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's kind of like, just notice, you know, if you have a day eating crap and watching telly all day, how do you feel at the end of it? And then if you have a day when you're sort of being a little bit more mindful of your activity and you're eating well, how do you feel then? And how do you want to feel?
You
know,
and I think we need to remember that we've got to think big picture at the same time, while we're focusing on the small picture that we're in every day. You know, if there's, you know, there's definitely there's a human tendency when you've been go, no stopping, and now you've just had the plug pulled out in you and the treadmill stops and you're like, okay, I'm still now, I'm just going to relax. And the problem with when you've been go and you go and you relax, you know, when you go on holiday, you get sick, right? And right now it is crucial that you don't get sick, that you don't have a lowered immunity. You know, even if you're following every single lockdown procedure, you still don't want to be on your 4 weeks feeling crook, you know, feeling awful, having runny nose, worrying about coronavirus and you know, the demise of the world and the human race, you know. And I personally don't have any problem if I wanted to just go and spend an entire day in bed and just feel sorry for myself. One day. But if I do it more than one day, if I do it every single day, then what I'm doing is I'm setting myself up to fail, because that is not healthy for my brain. It isn't healthy for my body. It's not a good example for me to be setting to, you know, my children and anybody else around me, you know. But if I'm like, guys, tomorrow, whatever you want, goes, stay in the house, whatever, don't make too much noise, but whatever you want goes for tomorrow. And then the next day, we're kicking into a routine, because we're going to have rested, we're going to have stopped the spin that's happening in our brains, and we're going to have calmed down. And then we're going to come from a place of peace, and we're going to work out how do all of us in this one house get on for the next almost 4 weeks of our life, you know. And we're going to have time where you're going to go away and you're going to be in your room and I'm going to be in my room, and it's going to be quiet time. Do whatever, but it's quiet time. And then we're all going to come back and we're all going to sit down and we're all going to have lunch together and we're going to talk. And we're going to eat slowly.
Oh, wow, what's that?
Does anybody even have a dining room table anymore? I don't know, you know.
We have, but we barely use it. We use the breakfast bar all the time. So it's just like, no, we're going to use it. But I tell you one thing that is actually really, there's a positive, there's always some good that comes out of every situation, right? And actually, I have teenagers. I have an 18-year-old and a 15-year-old. And as you can imagine, barely come out of their rooms. You know, it's like, oh, you are at home. Since this has happened, they still have their screens, obviously, but they've been wanting to play board games. They've been out talking to us, and we're like, oh, this is, you know.
Who are these children?
I know. I was making dinner the other night, and the kids and my husband were sat down and they were playing Monopoly and having a laugh, and No one threw the Monopoly board at anyone, which was really good. So
yet, give it time.
Yeah,
Day
yeah.
three.
Yeah. There is a really opportunity here as well to connect back with the family, and as you said, at the beginning, connection is so important. As humans, we crave that connection. I'm sure by the end of 4 weeks, or possibly earlier, we possibly won't be craving connection.
I want to disconnect from all of them.
Yes, exactly. But that's also, that is one concern for me, I suppose, with the connection piece. For people generally, I'm lucky, I've got a family here. Not everybody has that, and obviously there's rules around mixing with people. So it is a case of checking in on those people, asking those people, are they okay, doing what we're doing, get online and have a chat online. I know it's not exactly the same, but keeping spirits up. I put a little post up on my Facebook page the other day about something fun, why my day had a fun start. I'd got a really nice piece of cake from the local shop, and our new puppy was being very cute and adorable. So just fun, just a little fun thing, just finding the positive in things. Exactly. Because we really dwell on the negative. That's we're human beings, and that's what we do. When was the time, if you heard some good news, you might have passed it on to one person or something, but if you hear bad news, you pass it on to 20 people.
Everybody
has to know about the terrible thing that happened. And it's kind of like, and we dwell on the negative, and we get angry about it, and we revisit it, and then get frustrated and wound up again, and we really take every emotion out of that negative experience. But when we have a positive experience, what do we take out of it? We kind of might go, oh, okay, we might not want to dwell on it too much, because we don't, we're trying to be modest. We don't want to seem like a big head. Something's gone well. So it's kind of like, I read a book recently called Hardwiring Happiness. I can't remember the name of the guy, but it's called Hardwiring Happiness, and he's talking about it, and I've tried to put this into action a little bit. Is actually taking in, he has an acronym called HEAL. H is have a positive experience, or relive a positive experience. Enrich it. So basically, think about every single concept to it. So if you were down at the beach, for instance, is the sunshine on your face, you can hear the water lapping at your feet, the sun, the blue sky, the sand, feel of the sand between your toes, all that, enriching it. A is for absorb it. So really feel it all sinking down into
lovely.
You.
Yes.
And the L is to link negative and positive. So when you're having a positive thing, to have negative at the back, to just try and balance out and override that negative with that positive. It really works, It's kind of like we really have to experience and really feel our positive experiences, which we just don't do. I think we're just not wired to do that. And so we have to make ourselves, and we have to create a habit of experiencing out, really feeling and experiencing our positive things that happen, and trying to find something. I know everybody's probably said this, trying to find something positive in the day. We as a family, which my kids roll their eyes every day at 6 o'clock when my little reminder goes off to say, what are you grateful for? And then they'll go, oh. But it does, and we have quite a laugh about it, because they'll come up with some really weird and wonderful things, but it gets them in that mindset of being grateful for something. And if they ever struggle, I'm like, are you serious? Are you seriously telling me there's nothing in your life that you're grateful for? But
as you're going,
exactly,
me.
dinner.
Yeah.
But it does, and it's like, they say, what fires together wires together. And you can, there's a lot of research coming in now about neuroplasticity, about how your brain can develop, and you can override the negative way that we're wired, and that is, the more we live the positive, and we really enrich it, and we take all that emotion from those positive experiences as well, the more you actually automatically see the positive rather than automatically seeing the negative.
Absolutely.
And let's be honest, at a time like this, we kind of need that.
Now's the best time, if there was ever going to be a time, right now.
Absolutely.
Now, Jo, I'm just wondering if you have a sentence or two for a takeaway message for anybody who's watching, how would you sum that up?
Stay present. Just stay present and do those questions. If you start having a thought, is it helpful? Is it true? The answer will be no. Just a bit of a heads up and a cheat there for you. The answer will be no. It's not necessary, it's not helpful, and it's not true. And if it is true, that there is still, everyone else is suffering exactly the same. We're all in this together, and just spread kindness. Just do whatever you can to help people within the rules and regulations of what we're able to do at the moment. But stay present. I think that's the key takeaway. Don't go down that rabbit hole of what if.
Yeah, absolutely. Unless it's a what if positive. Yeah.
Oh, what if positives?
Yeah.
You can
What
take
if,
them all day.
Yeah. What if negative? No, we don't talk about that. Hey, Jo, thank you so much for your time this evening, and all the best with getting through this period in our time. And one day we'll look back at it and we'll be like, yeah, something amazing happened in our life. Back in my day, as we talked to our grandkids.
Yeah. We're going to come out of this. We're going to come out of this. If we stay present, if we keep our mental health in check, we're going to come out of this stronger than anything.
Absolutely.
Laura, I just wanted to say thank you to you as well for doing this and this initiative, because this is, your own time, no gain for you or anything, but this is an awesome concept, and this is exactly what we need in the world right now.
Thank you.
Shower that positivity and happiness and just how to cope, more.
Yeah, I love that. Isn't that nice of her? Thank you. That's really cool. Hey, well, we'll say goodbye now. We'll catch up once I've stopped recording. And just please feel free to just share once I've loaded it up, just share it with everybody. Let's get the word out there. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Laura.
Bye.